Oh gosh, my computer just like froze. Oh, we're live.
All
Okay.
right.
So, welcome to New Paradigm Conversations. I'm Sierra Morningstar Blue, and today on our 6th episode, I have an amazing guest and a beautiful star seer and friend, Sara Brainard. She's an intuitive guide. I know she has a variety of psychic gifts because we've worked together before, and I thought she would be a really amazing guest to have a new paradigm conversation with, because she carries a lot of really, the word that's coming in is dynamic cosmic codes. She has a lot of star energy. So whenever I connect to her energy, she has this very palpable, like galactic, multi-dimensional energy in her field. And I know she's had a really interesting journey stepping into her gifts and has been aware of them since childhood, and maybe they kind of turned off, and we're going to talk about that. But I thought that she would be a really amazing person to talk about the current energies as well as her energy stepping into her gifts, because what I feel right now with the current energies is there's a lot of upgrades going on, and there's a lot of invitations from our guides, our higher self, and really the core essence of who we really are, to start stepping into what we came here to do. And I think we're all getting kind of a lot of downloads, and we're all feeling this as we see the paradigm really beginning to shift and crumble. And as that happens, new spaces are opening up and emerging for us to be of service. And so welcome, Sara. I would love for you to just start off telling us a little bit about yourself, maybe a little bit about, yeah, I'd love to hear about your awakening journey a little bit. If you can maybe give us a little background about your childhood. I know that there was a lot of psychic connections and things going on then, and kind of what was the catalyst to your awakening?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here. Um, yeah, so I've been really connected since I was a little kid. Growing up, I've always been clairvoyant and seeing spirits and kind of connecting just all over the place with nature, with all kinds of things that seemed really normal to me when I was little. And then, of course, as I got older, I realized that no one else is seeing this or experiencing this in the same way. And so I kind of kept it quiet, and I literally did not tell anybody until about 2 years ago. So for me, yeah, it was a lot. It was kind of a going back to sleep process when I hit, elementary, middle school, and then living, a normal life, just overachieving, going to college. I was working in film production in New York City for years, and kind of climbing the ladder there. And I started waking back up again and seeing spirits, starting knowing, feeling, hearing things. And it was wild. It was very intense for a year there. It just became so undeniable that I finally ended up quitting my job pretty abruptly and going to yoga teacher training. I went back to school to become a wellness coach. And then I ended up transitioning into intuitive coaching and working with you and really learning how to activate and open this up even more. And so it's been a wild ride, but yeah. It was the past couple of years have just been like a complete awakening for me.
Yeah. And so I remember for you, and I'd love to hear more about this. It's interesting, you had a really successful career, and you're in New York City, and like
Mm-hmm.
really in the middle of a lot of, like, I don't know, pretty, I don't know if glamorous is the right word, but just kind of exciting energy and people and places and things. And
Mm-hmm.
really, as you said, you were climbing the ladder. So it was very much that old patriarchy kind of system that we've been
Mhm.
indoctrinated in, right, through society and all of the programming. And something wasn't, working for you, and it just wasn't. How were you able to make that leap of faith, from leaving this financially stable or income, or like, as you, again, climbing the ladder or whatever you want to say, with film and production? I mean, that's like really exciting stuff and very creative as well, but something
Mhm.
still wasn't feeling aligned for you, and that leap of faith to move into, like, health and wellness, and then, which always seems to be also the bridge sometimes we go through before we share our intuitive gifts, and we'll talk about that more. But how
Mhm.
did you take that leap of faith? Because I feel like there's a lot of listeners that can really relate to, especially in your age group of, like, they've got their jobs now, they're doing the thing, but it's not fulfilling. And how can they make that jump into something that's more aligned to their soul and their creative expression and their passions?
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely kind of a gradual build that I didn't realize at first, because I had all the kind of, the life that was just like a TV show and seemed very cool and exciting at first. But I realized, like, I was busy all the time and I wasn't very fulfilled. It was just always kind of, filling the schedule, always being busy, always thinking next step ahead. And even though everything looked really good, it wasn't, something was missing, and it took me a while to kind of identify what that was. So I think it just kind of began gradually with going to yoga classes and realizing, like, that was my favorite part of the day, and getting more into, I've always loved cooking, but making more time for that and for really listening to my body. And I think it's so true how that's so often the kind of gateway with yoga, and starting to, kind of opening up the body and getting into the body. And then really everything else starts to kind of wake up and tune in more. And yeah, it was really a couple years of starting to gradually experience more and more intuitive information and experiences, while trying to, keep going with my New York City life, and realizing that I didn't really want to, looking at people ahead of me in the film world who were older, and realizing, like, oh, I don't actually want to be there. I want something different. So, yeah. And then it definitely took a leap of faith to kind of walk away from the job with benefits and, to completely start fresh. But I felt something in me was, like, so, like, just rock solid certain that I had to do this, that this was my calling. And knowing too that I had these experiences since I was a kid, I realized that, like, I've done this before, and this is what I'm here to do. So I can't, it just was completely, like, undeniable.
Mm. Wow, I feel like that last piece you just said too. Well, two things really powerful. Coming into the body, being that catalyst to, like, almost awakening that deep cellular memory. And I think that
Mhm.
that is key too. I think a lot of us early on, we get quite excited and want to go out in the third eye and the crown and, like, upper chakras and those realms. And I feel that the biggest catalyst to every expansion, we have many expansions, like the first awakening, and then we have a million more after that, right? We're always
That's so
upgrading,
true.
up-leveling. And it always occurs for me the more I come into the body, because that's where the DNA activates. And it's in our arc field as well, but I really love that you touched on that. And I feel you said something again that seemed really, really important, that you may have questioned it, but you knew that you had already been doing it. You had done it before. So, like, in this lifetime, like as a child, right? You could
Mhm.
remember, I have been connecting to spirit. Like, something in you knew the truth of that and knew the wisdom and already had that cellular memory. And I'm sure it went beyond just childhood, but I mean, of course, but
Mhm.
yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that, the process of waking up again to feeling, sensing more energies. And of course, it's different for everyone. And how did you, I know it was a little overwhelming or scary or unsure, like, there's a lot of stories around protection and needing to
Mm.
protect ourselves and be fearful of certain energies, and if we're channeling, bad energies can come in, or astral traveling, like we start having these experiences. And I think something, there's also this other programming, right, that's part of the agenda to kind of create some fear for us. And what can you share about that? And I know it was like a big journey for you, but I think a lot of people are awakening, and protection is a big question. And if you can maybe tie in that childhood, remembering, because like as children, I feel like we don't have that programming, so we're not scared, right? It's just easy,
Mhm.
just so natural. So can you share about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so much to say about that. um, yeah, with waking up, the experience was kind of like I was seeing spirits a lot with my regular eyes in waking life. I mean, sometimes I would get up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water, and I thought someone had broken into my house, because I would see sometimes earthbound spirits or just, strange things I couldn't really identify. And it was happening so often that it's funny, because when I finally came out to my, friends and family, and I had been living with my brother and a roommate, and they were both like, "Oh, of course," because they heard me screaming in the middle of the night, or I would sometimes just get really, freaked out. And but it was yeah, it was definitely attention getting, and just also just knowing and realizing things, being able to tell if someone was lying to me, or kind of, picking up on things that people didn't want to say. Just getting little really fine details. And so yeah, at first I had a lot of fear, because when I started looking for information, and even like 5 years ago, I feel like there was not as much out there that was more of, a lighter kind of, talking about ascension and all of this. Like a lot of what I was finding was kind of like ghost hunter websites, like the black background and like the white or green font, that were kind of like very scary, and just saying, things are going to stick to you. And so for a while I was completely repressing it, because I was just did not want that. But I realized though that even as a child, like I had never really experienced anything really dark, and I'd always had a sense of protection and like a natural kind of confidence. And it was kind of just like finding my feet again, like remembering that I am a multidimensional being who exists way beyond this little body, and that we're so much bigger than that. And a lot of the kind of fear-based approach is, I feel like, kind of an old paradigm, and I have empathy for that, absolutely. But at the same time, that we are powerful, and we have that ability to raise our vibration and to really ground and have our presence. And I realized that I can command my energy in the room. And then working with you and just learning so much about how to do that really changed everything, where that's when I really unleashed and was able to just really step into that identity and feel like comfortable and safe and confident.
Yeah, I think that it's really important, especially now as the frequency of Earth is raising. More of us are tuning into a lot of different energies, whether we're maybe not seeing it or hearing it, but we can feel it, like star seeds,
Mhm.
light workers, however you identify yourself. We have the ability to sense different energies that are not regularly seen from just the singular third dimensional perspective. And I know we're all in this journey of learning how or what that is, or how we interpret energy or read energy, or how we go about that. And I think it's so important, because we're time to step into our multidimensionality, or that invitation is there for us. And
Mm.
There's a lot of fear. There is a lot of, especially, with everything going on right now in the collective, um, the viruses, just all of this stuff in mainstream media, and there are negative agendas going on. There are beings that don't have our best interests. So it's not that there isn't truth to that, but what you said was really profound, that we have the ability to command a room. We have the ability to set intentions. Certain energies we interact with, and it's part of our process and a reflection of the things we're clearing. It's a reflection of our belief systems and programming. And so that's all okay. So sometimes we might, butt up against those things, but I always find often it's just part of things that are clearing from my field most often. And everything else seems to be, but yet still a reflection. Even if there's other beings that don't have a positive agenda, like kind of coming into my field, I still always can tune into the belief system. Let's say someone's watching, and I can feel someone's kind of watching in my field and realizing it's really aligned to the inner critic, let's say, within me, like me overly, it's like there's always, and why I'm sharing that is I feel because we have the opportunity to expand through all of that, and why it's so important to continue bringing our consciousness into every part of our daily lives, and to the parts of us that, to these programs and belief systems, and the parts of us that are kind of, I don't even like to say shadowy, but just, have forgotten who they are. And how has that been for you lately, as far as in your intuitive work, in your own life? How have you been navigating this, like, really consistent raising of frequency? I mean, the energy is like strong, man. And at the same time, like, we're clearing so much, and you can feel the collective. There's just a lot going on. And I'd love to hear how you're just personally navigating that, or maybe what you've been observing with any clients. Yeah.
Yeah, this year has definitely been a roller coaster, to say the very least. And it is really amazing to see. It's funny because I remember talking to you last year saying, oh, 2020 is going to be so transformative. And I never imagined the extent of it. But it has been a lot, and it's interesting to see it manifesting in all of our lives. So in so many ways. Even earlier this year, I actually, I had a bad fall on a mountain, and I fractured my lower back. And so that put me out for months of being, of recovering from that really slowly. So I was in confinement, and also kind of confined in my physical body of being so limited, and having to really sit with that, and like sit with myself, and not be able to kind of be busy and moving around and distracting. So for me, that was a big kind of shadow work period of really getting still, and just quiet with myself, and kind of being able to make peace. And it actually felt so right, because after I moved out of New York City, after living there for almost 10 years, and I felt like I was kind of digesting all of that energy of like the beehive of go, 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 and really having to learn how to kind of like transform that, and like be at peace with myself. But yeah, I've been just seeing a lot of upheaval, a lot of friends and clients and family going through major, major life transitions, more than ever recently. But one of the things I love that you taught me about is with shadow work, like not looking at it as like, oh, I have to battle this, and like this is a, something I've got to face my demons. That doesn't always have to be that kind of approach, but kind of like dancing and like just easing into it, and accepting and embracing, and like seeing that. And like you were saying, with seeing some more kind of shadowy figures or energies that aren't of the highest, but realizing where that's reflecting something that needs to be seen within us, and helping draw attention there. And so really looking at it like, oh, I'm getting a big chill, of just really, yeah, seeing like where we need to heal and kind of soften and allow that to come through and kind of just, yeah, just process and digest that in a more, easeful way with love and with gentleness.
Mm. I love actually the way that you just stated that. I'm like, I don't think I ever said it that eloquently. That was really beautiful, like dancing with the energy and almost like at play with it. It's like as you were talking, I was just like almost seeing this like ballet dancing, like it's like the white swan, the black swan, like it can be that. It's not something to really fear, and I feel that that's part of our journey and why we're here, to not be afraid of these things and make a big drama about it, rather just move into it with grace and love and try to understand it, because I feel that's really how we're going to shift this paradigm. It's not like we're casting off all the murderers and the rapists and the reptilians and this and that onto some private island, like quarantine. We're going to build new earth over here. Like, it doesn't work that way. I remember hearing a channel, and I have no idea who or what, like, this is just like, it's like cataloging somewhere in my brain, my consciousness, talking about, it was like, I think they were channeling a star system, maybe the Pleiadians. I feel like the Pleiadians are coming in, so probably the Pleiadians. There's a lot of Pleiadian energy and Arcturian energy in this conversation, but how we will, it's like all of that love that we're almost siphoning away from what is possible, because we're really a collective. So like, it's like, if this is unity consciousness, like we're a soul collective. And the more we're trying to like outcast and like banish, banish from here, that's like, in a way, it's the ways that we've still banished, I believe, parts of ourselves. And it's like, think about how much more love and it would be available, and how powerful that is and beautiful that is, to have a collective that's that strong and that bright. And I'm seeing a connection now to that, to the ancient, again, I can feel the ancestors of the lands coming in here, like that memory of being in tribe. And there's a false story about how somehow that the story of the sick one or the injured one of the tribe was left behind because they weren't, it's like survival of the fittest, which is a very old, like, that's an old agenda that isn't accurate. And the true ancient wisdom, the enlightened ancients were all about coming together, and they knew that they weren't strong unless they were whole. And I feel that's the shift that we're moving into, from like survival of the fittest to unity consciousness and being together as whole, as one. Like, that's where the real strength is. And what are your thoughts about how we can kind of navigate what's going on in the collective? There's a lot of anger, and it's understandable, a lot of sadness, a lot of confusion, a lot of fear. How are you navigating that right now?
Yeah, I've been like digesting all of that too, of course, and really feeling triggered, and just so much, just seeing, like, really feel like we're pulling back the, just everything, really just shining a light on all of this, like, more than ever, which is really exciting, that in a way that, things are kind of becoming clear, and we're having this kind of catalyst to like a major transformation. And I've been realizing, because at times I feel like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not doing enough. I want to be like changing the entire world. Like, how do I do this? I'm thinking like, comparing to like Gandhi or someone like who's just, changing the world on a huge scale, but realizing also how it really comes down to like, what can I do like at the grassroots level, like with my friends and family and clients and my community, and really make a difference there, and with myself, of course, too, and really kind of uncovering the shadow and working with that in kind of, creating harmony there, of not fighting it and like working through that shame or guilt, but or fear, and kind of just really warming that and being able to look at that in myself, and then also just to take action on a local level or within my own community and clients and help people, because I realize like, right, that's where we really make an impact and can heal and of course, with ascension, that it all begins like right here. It's not going up there, going somewhere else, but making it happen, anchoring in this like 3D planet, and then really creating that transformation on an individual level.
Yeah, I very much resonate with that, and I think you really beautifully summed that up, like what we're really here to do. And and we all we'll have our unique way of doing that. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It was really beautiful. Let's shift into a little more cosmic connections. I would love for you to kind of share what you do exactly. I know you're very intuitive. I know you're a channel. I know you have the ability to be a medium and connect to all these different beings in different realms, as well as astral traveling. And I know you used to teach dream yoga. And what's in for you right now? Like, where are your gifts unfolding and wanting to be expressed? And how are you creatively expressing yourself and your intuitive gifts right now?
Yeah, I love that question. It is, I've been like really trying to kind of follow my excitement and like what's really interesting me, and just, oh my gosh, there's so many things. I want to do everything. It's just trying to choose one thing at a time, like what's next. But I've been working with clients doing a like personal kind of one-on-one mentorship program to really go deeper with people who are really, ready to kind of open up and are beginning their awakening, to help guide and just trying to support that process. And it's so unique with every individual soul of what their journey is, but just really activating that and helping them to kind of awaken that intuition and realize that, as I did. I was never have thought 5 years ago that I would be doing this or that I would be living this life. But and also embodiment, really integrating that into our everyday life, right? Like not just feeling spiritual at a moon ritual or retreat, but really just grounding that in like our lives and bringing that kind of magic and that awareness. So I've been doing that. And then I'm going to be teaching another round of the kind of dream yoga course, doing like lucid dreaming to activate intuition, working with astral projection, because that was so big for me, with realizing there's so much more we have access to than we realize, connecting with guides and kind of awakening that starseed connection and cosmic consciousness. And for me, that's where it's almost like a way to kind of connect directly when your kind of skeptical human mind is not always, certain, and to really just, connecting with the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and that whole consciousness. So I'm really excited about that. And astral projection, getting into the astral body, just awakening that awareness is so exciting to me.
I love that. I feel like, I don't see a lot of there is information about it, but I don't see as much information about the dream work and lucid dreaming and all these kind of ancient practices as much as other things, like, or maybe that's just what I don't come across it as much. I find it really powerful work. Like, I've done some dream work, and it is an incredible way to connect to like different parts of us and our subconscious. Incredible messages come through, activations. What would you say do you feel there's a difference between astral projection? See, this is not my realm of expertise at all. So I'm excited to ask you, do you feel there's a difference between lucid dreaming and astral projecting? Like, is it, are they the same? It's just a different awareness, or we're in a different realm, or, you know, dreamscape type of a situation where, or is lucid dreaming maybe a catalyst to astral projecting? Yeah, just, yeah, if you can talk a little bit about that, I would love to hear your perspective.
Yeah. Ah, yes, I love this. Yeah, I really feel that with like lucid dreaming is kind of a gateway or a way to kind of ease into that. Because I know people experience astral projection through that. And I think some people are so concrete, but I think there's a lot of ways that this can manifest. Certainly like through dreaming, those dreams of flying. And I think it's a way to kind of ease us in, you know, like dipping into the water and warming up to it. Because sometimes, like I've been astral projecting since I was like a teenager. And at first, like sometimes I would pop out of my body at night, look back, see my body and freak out and just jump right back in. And it can be really startling. So I think there are several ways. There's where we're certainly can come out, you know, fully aware in the room and then go places. But sometimes I'm also just guided. I'm not, you know, I'm not driving the ship there. I'm just kind of being taken to different places, experiencing different things. So I think, yeah, that lucid dreaming or just dreaming in general, there's so many kind of like fine shades of lucidity in dreaming. But that, yeah, these are all experiences of, you know, being in our spirit and connecting with spirit. And I think once we start to realize what's possible, it's so much more exciting going to bed at night and just like uncovering worlds upon worlds. Once you realize, you know, just shining the light of your attention on that and beginning to really go deeper is amazing, like what's possible.
That's it's a really powerful practice, and not one that I have put all my attention and awareness into. And can you share a little bit about yeah, what are the, again, the kind of like the benefits and you know, the fear? I've had that too in lucid dreaming, and there's these instances or astral projecting that I find, you know, certain blocks coming in, like it's like or you get in your mind too much. How can we like share with others just in a general way? Because I know it's like, you guys take her course if you really want to learn more. Without giving all the secrets away. Yeah, what's like a basic fit or a basic practice, or maybe, you know, an intention that you set before you sleep, or what's just a little something that you could share with the community just to kind of get them maybe yeah, opening up to it or curious about it, or maybe even trying to practice just a little bit at night?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's actually a really good point. What you mentioned is setting the intention at night. So before bed, like I get very grounded. Like I often will like take a shower or even wash my feet and just like really put on the moisturizer and really get into the body so that you feel comfortable and anchored and set that intention. Because I used to get woken up a lot at night by different energies, just all, you know, like wanting to talk and chat and have attention. So I always set that intention before bed that, you know, nothing will disturb me except for my highest and greatest good. And, or if I intend to connect with something in particular or something I'm interested in exploring, and setting that intention to dream or to astral project if you're feeling intrigued, and just calling in your guidance and knowing that you are safe. And I think there's definitely a fear, especially with astral projection, that takes some time, you know, just coming out of the body and knowing that nothing can come into your body. It's not like the movies, you're safe, that, you know, being in your astral body, you're safe. And so that's why I think dreaming is a beautiful kind of gateway to get comfortable with that and start kind of exploring that level of consciousness more. But I think setting just clear intentions, I think it doesn't occur to us sometimes to just ask for exactly what we want. We think like we can't, you know, we're not used to doing that, but just really asking for exactly what you'd like and connecting with your guides and grounding and just really setting that. And it's amazing how powerful our intentions are when we just actually, it's one of those things that's so easy to skip that we don't usually think of it. But when you start really committing to that, and it just becomes natural, and it's like a muscle that you remember that you have, and then you can just use it pretty easily.
do you feel that once people can maybe wake up to either lucidly or with astral projection, waking up to their multidimensionality really, and it's like it's a great way to not only remember who we really are and what we're really capable of, and and how vast this multiverse is. It's I love how when you just said power of intention, like we often don't understand how powerful it is. And it's understandable in this third dimensional reality because we don't see energy most often. We can't see how energy is really working. And everything's so dense and physical, sometimes manifesting. We start to think or lose hope or lose momentum or lose our focus with our intentions and setting that and creating that wavelength. But in the dream world, it's quite different. We can see these things come about, instantaneously, because everything is mostly through intention. Or maybe you can explain more, because again, you know way more than I do, but it's just setting intention in lucidity. Oh, I want to fly, or this, just like you can change the landscape. And I think it's a powerful tool for us to remember how powerful we actually are and really have a more palpable experience of how energy works. Can you share about that? And maybe like before we end, maybe it's like a little story or something that you experienced in your dream travels.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, so many stories. I get so excited. I can go on. But yeah, I do think this is such a beautiful way to connect with spirit, because oftentimes, we're busy. We have, especially with confinement, people have kids at home or a lot going on. But it's a way that sometimes we can't always go into deep meditation every day to really deeply connect. But I think it's a beautiful way to kind of open that connection up and kind of maintain that. We all have to sleep at night, so you're never too busy to go there. And it really is like, it's just such a profound way. And I think we think of like dreams that we vaguely remember, but once you start really paying attention, it grows and you're able to go deeper and remember a lot more, and just like you said, create landscapes, go to other places. And like for me, I used to do a lot of the meditations, like meet your spirit guides, and they never worked. And everyone else, like in different groups, was always, having experiences. And I felt like, oh, like I'm seeing all this stuff, but I have no idea who my spirit guides are. And I don't know if you remember, like a couple of years ago, I was like so like just freaked out about that. But through dream work actually is how I started to connect with my guides and actually see them and understand their energy and be able to recognize them. And because again, I was kind of bypassing my mind, being like, I can't do this. This isn't something for me. And just, really waking up. And that's what I find with dream work, is that it really wakes up our memory of what we're capable of, and past lives, other dimensional, realities, and like what we can do. So, but yeah, really just getting to experience my guides and just connect with those other lifetimes. And just realizing I can create, I can go where I want to go. Like the other night I was like, I want to go swim with whales, and I was astral projecting out of my body into the ocean and like experiencing that energy with my guides, and like learning and being able to vividly remember all of this, what feels like maybe an hour of time, is just like so breathtaking. Like I just want everyone to be able to experience that. It's so beautiful.
I love that. It's like you're talking, I'm just seeing like these whales, like seeing their eyes, and it's what a beautiful gift that you have. And I really feel like this is a huge part of what you're here to share. And it's just like in your energy. This really, like I started the interview off with, this galactic cosmic essence. And yet you're very grounded and very have this very divine feminine energy, and it's very balanced and beautiful. And I'm just gonna look and see if there's any questions. What a question and a half. So if we could end with any like messages or any anything that you would just like to share with the community right now? It could be about anything, just like any ending message or intuitive guidance that you would like to close with.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot about just how recently I think this year has, with all the upheaval, and I think things have been feeling very dense and very like a lot of static, a lot of noise, a lot of like mental, just that kind of beehive sensation of all of us feeling so buzzy and ungrounded and uncertain. And I think I've been hearing from a lot of clients, it has been harder to kind of connect or to feel that sense of, that connection to spirit. And to that, I just would want to say that I think it's more important than ever to really try to create some space for that, because it doesn't always come up naturally in your day, especially with the way this year has gone. But to really kind of create some space for that to come in, whether with dream work or meditation or even just yoga practice, but thinking about sacred space and where you can kind of create some space for that and make time to connect, because I think it's so important now more than ever. And I know it's not easy this past year, but I'm really excited just to see so many people are waking up right now, and I'm just like welcoming them with open arms. So really, creating that spaciousness just a little bit, even in dream time. And there's so much there that's waiting for us to just, it's there and ready for every one of us to kind of wake up and greet.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I completely resonate with that as well. Yeah. There's just so much going on. So yeah, it's really coming up with that practice, continue just remembering who we are and cultivating that vibration we want to connect with daily. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining me today. I loved having you on. And how can people find you? Of course, I'll put your information back up in the intro to this live. But just quickly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Sara Brainard. My website, sarabrainard.com. I'm Sara Brainard on all the social media. Instagram or website. And and I'll be launching my course next week for October. So, yeah.
Yay! Awesome. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you guys should definitely check it out. Sign up if, learning more about the dream time and the astral realms and all this stuff. It sounds exciting to you. I would just dive in. And I know she's an amazing teacher, and she's, this is part of one of her biggest gifts that she's here to anchor. So I would highly recommend connecting with Sara. So that's it for today. Thank you everyone for listening and connecting with our energy, and just sending everyone tons of love and light and an abundance of blessing. And thank you so much, Sara.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.